What's up everybody? Alex Corey here with KC Gardens, back with the microgreens, and we are doing a seasonal update. I've alluded to this a couple times when I was doing my winter individual variety videos, but this is going to be a in-season demo of humidity and temperature changes and that affecting different crops' growth. So we're going over the main crops that get affected by swings in temperature and humidity, which are going to be your brassicas, sunflower, and a couple of specialty crops coming up. So we're coming up to the transition to fall. I'm in zone 6B, which means it's still pretty warm here during the day and the humidity levels are still high, but the nighttime temperatures are sinking. This won't apply too much if you're a bigger grower or the operation you're going to be starting is in a larger warehouse type space that maintains its nighttime temperatures pretty well. But if you're in a room or you're just starting out growing and your ambient temperature matches the rest of your house or a basement, or you're running off of an air conditioning unit, something like that, it's going to be more of an issue. Whenever nighttime temperatures start to dip into the, let's say, low 60s or 50s ambient outside temperature, and that starts seeping inside, as long as the humidity stays pretty high, nothing will get hit too much. But whenever your humidity starts dropping a little more going into the cold season, so if it starts dipping down into 30 or 40%, probably around October, or really when months start getting a little colder, and the daytime temperatures don't climb up that much, you're going to start seeing germination times radically change on some of the either the colder weather crops like the brassicas or the real summer crops like your sunflower. This is one of the examples of this. So the first true leaves on this started popping out probably because this was put down on a real hot day. The issue with sunflower is that to get it to germinate, it really likes summer temperatures, but it really likes stable spring and fall temperatures for growing. So around 72 to 75 is wonderful for growing, just so you don't have to catch it quite as quickly before the first true leaves start becoming a problem, like this guy. The brassicas, so your broccolis, your cabbages, and your mustards, will actually enjoy the fall temperatures a little more, but it'll take them longer to get there. So if you're going for the first true leaf on a red acre cabbage or a broccoli, you need about 10 days minimum for that to come out. This is right around 10 days for these crops. We don't go for a first true leaf because they go into mixes quite a lot, and our clients tend to like a more petite leaf with a little more stem. Depends on your clientele. Restaurants will like probably a little more of that full featured intro to mature leaf, sort of a macro green if you would. But in the fall, you're going to end up having an overlap in timelines. This is usually probably around October, so we're coming up quickly, where you're going to, in order to not miss a harvest day if you are on a timeline, for things like sunflower, when the transition happens from a 7-day, or even for a radish, the ones that are on the 7-day timelines are going to start leaning more into like a 9-day or a 10-day timeline for the same growth, same look. So when you come into that, seed 2 days. So if you have a single harvest day, so we have ours on Wednesday, we would do our normal Tuesday seeding for the sunflower, and it would have a week. And then we would also seed on a Thursday or a Friday, so that for the next week, if you start increasing that timeline, you have the same bulk. So you're going to have twice as many germinating and under light, but one is just going to be under light longer, and it's less the light time and more the germination times. In the summer, radish and sunflower are good at 3 days. Radish and sunflower are the quickest to germinate given the proper temperatures. So when you start moving into October and the colder nighttime temps and lower humidity levels, that might turn to a 4 or 5 day germination, and that's really where the the difference is the growth time under light is about the same. It's just getting the same height for sunflower especially, and then it's still going to be probably another 4 or 5 days under a light. Sunflower, I did a video right here where I was having them under heating pads in the winter just to get the germination to be about the same, and I was baking them, the bottom one where all the pressure was. So don't do that, but there's going to be a couple weeks until your timelines fully shift where you're going to be seeding the same crop twice a week. You might be doing that anyway if you have 2 different harvest days or delivery days. In that case, it gets a little more complex, and then you just overseed one of the days and you let that go a couple more days. But if you have one harvest day, you're going to harvest or seed the same crop, radish and sunflower, usually on 2 different periods of the week, and then just let one germinate until it is actually perfect to uncover, and then you're covered, so you won't be lacking any crop on that next harvest day. The brassicas you can use your discretion on. So I like the more petite greens because they fit better in a salad, I find, and they're more easier to mix. They're less likely to break whenever you're tossing them into a mix. And the only other thing to point out is this guy right here is a ruby streak mustard. There are some crops that are grown for their first true leaf. So ruby streak really starts to pop and shine and have that bite that people expect with the mustard when the first true leaf comes out. So this guy, we do definitely let go 2 weeks. So on the ones that are longer term, all your herbs, so if you're doing a basil or a cilantro or a specific crop like a mustard, and you need that first true leaf, you're going to be doing it further anyway, so it's going to be a minimum of 14 days. But if your crop is in between that, use your discretion, but tendency is you're going to add a couple extra days. I put a picture of the ruby streak here, what it should look like in my opinion, and what looks best and what people are expecting whenever they bite into it. I'm going to give a heads up that there's going to be, on the shoulder seasons, a period of transition when the humidity, even if you have a controlled environment, the humidity will end up changing a little bit. And I believe it's, I don't know where the thermometer is right now, but it's probably about 60 to 70% humidity right now. It really starts to become effective if you're seeding outside and your water temperature and your humidity at time of germination differ than they would in the summer. So just plan an extra couple days ahead, and if you do go for that first true leaf or that more mature microgreen on any of the brassicas, maybe plan on at least a 10-day cycle or a 2-week cycle. I actually like the fall, the shoulder seasons a little more, just because the timelines for your radishes and your sunflowers and your quicker growing crops lean into the timelines for the slower growing ones, so it's less of a you're not managing 2 different growth cycles at the same time, so you can tend to seed everything in one day, and then the extra grow time on crops where that first true leaf matters, like a sunflower becomes inedible, or a radish where a lot of people don't like the extra bite a radish has when the first true leaf comes out. So you can actually tend towards a 10-day cycle for those, and then these guys, once they hit around 10 days, the growth stabilizes, and an extra 4 days, so a full 2 weeks on the brassicas doesn't matter as much as on the quicker growing crops. Pea, for example, won't care so much. Pea should be a 10-day crop in my opinion anyway, especially if you want that tendril to come out. So everything tends to consolidate in the shoulder seasons, then the winter is a whole different ball game, and we'll have plenty of videos on that. You can see my sunflower video here again. But until next time, we'll talk about batches.